Look around your home right now. See that beautiful lush green plant sitting in your living room? The one you lovingly water and care for every single week? You brought it home to breathe life into your space, to make your family sanctuary feel warm, peaceful, and alive. But let me ask you a terrifying question. What if that exact same plant is quietly waiting to destroy your life? What if, by trying to bring nature campaigns indoors, you have unwittingly invited a silent killer to sleep under the same roof as your children and your innocent pets? You did this. You walked into the nursery, smiled at the vibrant green leaves, paid for it, and set it right where your loved ones play. If something terrible happened to them tomorrow, would you ever forgive yourself for not knowing what was hidden in that pot? It is a brutal, agonizing thought, but every single day, thousands of passionate, well-meaning plant lovers make this exact catastrophic mistake. We stroll through local garden centers, enchanted by beautiful displays, assuming that if a plant is sold on a shelf, it must be safe. But the painful reality is that the commercial plant industry operates on profit, not safety. Respected organizations like Poison Control and the ASCA maintain long lists of highly toxic, lethal plants that are regularly sold to the public with absolutely zero warning labels. Today, we are exposing the truth and revealing the 7 most dangerous plants you should never buy from nurseries, starting with 2 outdoor classics that hide deadly secrets behind their breathtaking beauty. Let us begin with a plant that looks like an exotic coastal paradise, but functions as a lethal biological weapon, the oleander, known scientifically as Nerium oleander. If you have ever driven through a warm climate, you have probably admired its dense, evergreen hedges, decorated with clusters of showy pink, white, or red blossoms. Nurseries push oleander heavily because it is practically indestructible. It thrives in poor soil, loves full sunlight, and survives intense heat and drought, promising a Mediterranean oasis with minimal effort. But behind this easy care facade lies a dark, terrifying truth. Every single part of the oleander plant is heavily saturated with cardiotoxic compounds known as cardiac glycosides, primarily a chemical called oleandrin. These toxins strike directly at the heart muscle, disabling the cellular pumps that control your heartbeat, and forcing the cardiovascular system into chaotic, fatal arrhythmias. The margins are unforgivingly small. For a horse, eating as little as 1 ounce of green oleander leaves is a rapid, fatal dose. The real tragedy is that animals rarely chew on the bitter, living leaves. Instead, the danger comes from our own backyard maintenance. When homeowners trim their hedges and toss the clippings near pastures, or when dried leaves blow into a pet's play area, the bitter taste fades, but the lethal toxicity remains. The California Veterinary Diagnostic Laboratory System has investigated dozens of heartbreaking cases where healthy horses and cattle were found dead just hours after accidental exposure to dried clippings. Even history warns us. During the Peninsular War, a platoon of Napoleon's soldiers made a catastrophic mistake near Madrid. They used wild oleander branches as skewers to roast meat over a campfire. The toxic sap seeped directly into the food. Within hours, the soldiers fell violently ill, suffering from stomach cramps, bloody vomiting, and cardiac collapse. Several never woke up. If you want that gorgeous tropical look without the terrifying stakes, choose the safe alternative, the hibiscus. It is completely non-toxic to your children and free-roaming pets. If oleander acts with sudden, explosive force, our next plant hides its threat behind a delicate fairy tale elegance. Let us look at foxglove, or digitalis purpurea. If you have ever dreamed of a romantic English cottage garden, you have likely lusted after foxglove. It sends up towering, vertical stalks laden with rows of downward-facing, bell-shaped flowers in shades of purple, pink, and cream. Nurseries sell them by the thousands because they add instant architectural height and old-world charm to any landscape. But this magical garden staple is a chemical time bomb. Foxglove is loaded with digitalis glycides, primarily digitoxin. In modern medicine, these exact compounds are synthesized under strict controls to strengthen failing hearts. But in your garden, the concentration is completely unregulated. Chewing a single leaf or flower can cause intense nausea, violent vomiting, severe low blood pressure, and sudden cardiac arrest. The discovery of this plant's power is a legendary tale. In 1775, English physician William Withering treated a patient with severe dropsy, an agonizing swelling caused by congestive heart failure. Expecting her to die, he was stunned to find her make a full recovery. He discovered she had taken an herbal tea brewed by a local Shropshire herbalist. Withering tracked down the recipe and realized the single, powerful, active ingredient was wild foxglove. He spent a decade researching its clinical effects, creating the foundation of modern cardiovascular therapeutics. Yet wild foxglove remains incredibly dangerous. In the United Kingdom, hospital registries contain reports of gardeners who suffered dental and systemic digitalis poisoning simply by handling the damp stalks with bare hands and then accidentally touching their mouths. Children are particularly drawn to the hollow finger-like blooms, sometimes putting them on their hands as play gloves. If you want that dramatic, colorful, vertical look without bringing a historical poison into your family's sanctuary, plant snapdragons instead. They look incredibly similar, love the same growing conditions, but are 100% safe for both children and curious pets. You get all the magical charm with absolutely none of the risk. We have only just begun to uncover the hidden hazards that nurseries sell us every single day, and the indoor plants waiting on our list are even more common, sitting right on our kitchen counters and living room tables. If you are ready for this epic journey into botanical truth, drop a comment telling me where in the world you are watching from right now. Hit that like button, subscribe to Rooted Living, and turn on notifications so you never miss our upcoming safety guides and garden transformations. Your active support helps our community grow and keeps our homes safe. Let us step inside the comfort of the home. Imagine placing a beautiful, lush green plant in your living room, right next to where your children play or your pets nap. You bought it because it was labeled as a beginner-friendly indoor plant that thrives in low light. This is dieffenbachia, widely known as dumb cane. Its large, glossy green leaves splashed with creamy white patterns give off an instant tropical indoor vibe. But behind this aesthetic appeal lies a vicious physical defense mechanism. If a curious toddler or a playful pet takes a single bite of a dieffenbachia leaf, a quiet nightmare unfolds. Its cells are packed with millions of microscopic, needle-shaped crystals of calcium oxalate, known as raphides, housed in specialized ejector cells called idioblasts. When subjected to the slightest pressure, like the bite of a tooth, these cells swell and explosively shoot the sharp needles directly into the soft tissues of the mouth, tongue, and throat. They act like tiny microscopic shards of glass, triggering instant agonizing burning, blistering, and severe swelling. The tongue and throat can swell so rapidly that the airway becomes compromised, making breathing difficult. This reaction is why it is called dumb cane. It literally leaves victims unable to speak as their vocal cords and throat swell shut. Poison control centers receive thousands of calls every year regarding accidental dieffenbachia exposure. Imagine the panic of seeing your child or pet drooling excessively, pawing at their mouth in silent agony, unable to explain what is happening. Even handling the plant during routine pruning can be hazardous. If the milky sap gets on your skin, it causes painful blisters. If you accidentally rub your eyes, it can lead to severe corneal damage. Have you ever owned a dumb cane without realizing this silent threat was sitting right in your living room? If you have this plant, let us know in the comments below how you manage its safety. Thankfully, you do not have to sacrifice that bold tropical indoor look. A completely non-toxic alternative is the parlor palm or the cascading Boston fern. Both offer the same lush energy without turning your living room into a safety hazard. As we move back out to the garden, we encounter our fourth dangerous nursery plant, one that looks like a harmless miniature palm tree and is often sold as a premium ornamental centerpiece for yards and patios. This is the sago palm, scientifically known as Cycas revoluta. With its thick, rugged trunk and dark green, leathery fronds that fan out dramatically, it looks like a piece of a tropical vacation. Nurseries love pushing them because they are low maintenance, drought tolerant, and add instant architectural style to modern landscapes. But the sago palm is one of the most toxic plants a pet owner can introduce to their property. Every single part is poisonous, but the seeds, the small, bright orange-red nuts clustered in the center, are the absolute deadliest. They contain a highly potent, fast-acting toxin called psychocin. To a dog, these fallen seeds can look and smell like an appealing toy or a tasty snack, but ingesting even a single seed is a veterinary emergency with a tragically low survival rate. Once consumed, psychocin aggressively attacks the liver, causing rapid and irreversible liver failure. Within 15 minutes to a few hours, the first signs of distress appear: drooling, vomiting, and bloody diarrhea. As the toxin destroys the liver over the next 2 to 3 days, severe neurological symptoms set in, including wobbly walking, muscle tremors, seizures, and ultimately coma. Veterinary emergency rooms are flooded with sago palm cases every year. Many families are completely blindsided. They purchase a beautiful, unmarked plant from a nursery, place it in their yard, and days later face thousands of dollars in emergency vet bills, only to be told that their beloved companion may not survive. The survival rate, even with immediate aggressive hospitalization, is only about 50%. Having a sago palm in your yard is like leaving an active landmine in your pet's play area. If you have ever had a close call with a sago palm, or if you had no idea this common landscape staple was so deadly, please share your story in the comments. Your warning could prevent another family from experiencing this devastating heartbreak. To protect your pets while maintaining that stunning palm aesthetic, choose a ponytail palm or an areca palm instead. They are entirely non-toxic, look spectacular, and carry absolutely zero danger for your curious pets. If you thought the sago palm was terrifying, our fifth plant features a poison so notorious. It sounds like it was lifted straight out of a Cold War espionage thriller. This is the castor bean plant, or Ricinus communis. It is a bold, dramatic shrub with massive, star-shaped purple leaves and striking, spiky red seed pods. Nurseries occasionally sell it to gardeners looking for a fast-growing, exotic statement piece to fill empty space and catch the eye. But the seeds of the castor bean plant contain ricin, one of the most potent, deadly biological toxins known to science. Ricin is a ribosome inactivating protein that completely shuts down your body's ability to produce essential proteins, leading to rapid systemic organ failure and death. Just 2 to 3 chewed seeds can be fatal to a child, and a handful can kill an adult. The sheer lethality of this plant was thrust into the global spotlight during an infamous assassination in September 1978. A Bulgarian dissident named Georgy Markov was waiting for a bus on Waterloo Bridge in London. He felt a sudden, sharp sting in his thigh and turned to see a man scooping up a dropped umbrella. The man apologized and vanished. Within hours, Markov developed a raging fever and severe abdominal agony. 4 days later, he died. During the autopsy, forensic pathologists discovered a tiny, micro-engineered platinum iridium pellet embedded in his thigh. The pellet was drilled with 2 minuscule holes designed to hold a tiny dose of ricin, sealed with a sugary substance engineered to melt at human body temperature. It was a weapon of chilling sophistication, and the poison was harvested directly from the seeds of the very plant nurseries sell for home landscaping. Accidental poisonings still occur today when children mistake the glossy, beautifully patterned seeds for candy. If the seed is chewed, the toxin is released and there is no known antidote. Growing this plant is so dangerous that many municipalities have outright restricted or banned it. If you crave that bold, massive leaf aesthetic, there are beautiful, safe alternatives. Plant canna lilies or elephant ears. They deliver the same dramatic, tropical foliage and vibrant energy without bringing a chemical weapon into your family's backyard. As spring rolls around, nurseries across the globe display massive, stunning walls of azaleas and rhododendrons. They burst with colors so vibrant they look hand-painted: neon pinks, deep purples, pure whites, and fiery reds. Homeowners purchase them by the millions, eager to create a cheerful, welcoming front yard. But hidden behind these gorgeous spring displays is an ancient chemical secret that once brought down mighty empires. Azaleas and rhododendrons contain granotoxins, powerful compounds that bind directly to voltage-gated sodium channels in cell membranes. By holding these channels open, they prevent cells from resetting, keeping your nerves and muscles in a state of constant, exhausting depolarization. In 401 BCE, the Greek historian Xenophon documented a bizarre event in his work, the Anabasis. While marching near Trabzon in modern-day Turkey, his soldiers came across wild beehives. Eager for a sweet treat, they gorged on the honeycomb. Within hours, the entire army was on the ground, disoriented, vomiting, and paralyzed. A similar, more calculated event occurred in 65 BCE during the Third Mithridatic War. King Mithridates ordered his forces to retreat, but left behind combs of this toxic mad honey on the path of the pursuing Roman army. The Roman legionnaires ate the honey, became completely incapacitated, and were easily slaughtered by Mithridates' returning forces. This ancient biological weapon is the very same plant that might be lining your driveway today. In dogs and cats, even a small amount of ingested azalea foliage can cause intense drooling, weakness, a dangerous drop in blood pressure, and a slow, failing heart rate. To capture that breathtaking spring color safely, try planting Camellias or viburnum. They offer gorgeous, showy blossoms without the dangerous grayanotoxins. This brings us to our final, most urgent entry, a plant that sits proudly on dining room tables, in holiday centerpieces, and in elegant bouquets gifted for birthdays and anniversaries: the lily. With their tall, graceful stems, velvety petals, and intoxicatingly sweet fragrance, true lilies are a staple of the floral industry. Yet, for cat owners, these elegant flowers represent an absolute zero-tolerance emergency. It is a terrifying veterinary truth that lilies are silent, fast-acting killers for felines. Unlike many other toxic plants where a pet must consume a significant portion to get sick, a cat can experience fatal acute kidney failure from the most microscopic exposure. All parts of the lily, the petals, the leaves, the stem, and the water in the vase, contain an unidentified nephrotoxin that specifically targets the renal tubular cells in a cat's kidneys. The most common way cats are poisoned is not by chewing on the leaves, but through their fastidious grooming habits. A cat might simply walk past a vase, brushing its fur against the delicate dust-like orange pollen of a stargazer or Easter lily. Later, while washing itself, the cat licks the fur, ingesting just a few microscopic grains of pollen. Within hours, the toxin begins its devastating work, destroying the lining of the kidney tubules. Initially, the cat may vomit, lose its appetite, and appear lethargic. Often, these early signs temporarily subside, giving owners a false sense of relief. But behind the scenes, the damage is progressing rapidly. Within 36 to 72 hours, the kidneys fail completely, stopping the production of urine. If veterinary treatment is delayed by more than 18 hours after exposure, the damage is usually irreversible, and the survival rate drops close to zero. The tragedy is that most cat owners have no idea. They set a beautiful gift on the counter, go to work, and return home to a pet in a quiet, deadly crisis. For that same graceful, elegant indoor beauty, choose orchids or roses. They look spectacular in a vase and are completely safe for your feline friends. Before we wrap up, we must address a few honorable mentions that did not make our main list, but still demand your caution. First is the hydrangea, a beloved garden classic famous for its giant cloud-like clusters of blue, pink, and purple flowers. While they look innocent, their leaves and flower buds contain cyanogenic compounds. When chewed, these compounds release hydrogen cyanide, a poison that prevents cells from utilizing oxygen. Second is monkshood, or aconitum, also known as the queen of poisons. Its tall spikes of deep royal blue flowers make it incredibly attractive, but it is one of the most toxic plants in the world. Just brushing against the leaves without gloves can cause numbness and tingling in your skin, and ingesting even a fraction of a gram has been fatal since ancient Roman times. Finally, philodendrons, which are incredibly popular hanging indoor plants, contain the same mouth-irritating calcium oxalate crystals found in dumb cane, causing painful swelling if chewed by pets or kids. Living a rooted, vibrant life means creating a home that is both beautiful and safe. You can easily protect your household by following 3 simple rules. First, never rely on nursery labels to warn you about toxicity. Always look up a plant's scientific name on your phone before checking out. Second, keep the numbers for your local emergency vet and national poison control saved in your contacts. And third, fill your spaces with safe, resilient plants. In our channel's visual journeys, we often celebrate low-maintenance, thriving gardens. You can build your own safe paradise using beautiful, non-toxic options like lavender, marigolds, jade plants, snake plants, and sunflowers. They bring incredible color, require minimal effort, and let you garden with absolute peace of mind. Which of these 7 dangerous plants shocked you the most? Have you ever had to remove a toxic plant from your yard? Let us know in the comments below. If you want to keep learning how to cultivate a beautiful, safe home, hit the like button. Share this video with your fellow plant lovers, and subscribe to Rooted Living. Thank you for watching, stay safe in your garden, and we will see you in the next video.